Good day, children. Welcome again to Mala's classes. I continue with the unit from trade to territory, the second part of it. We had already seen in the first part how the Britishers had come into our country as merchants, and slowly they began to annex territories in our country. So we had started off that how the charter was signed, the East India Company had come to our country, how they traded, how they slowly began to influence the kings, they became like kingmakers. The Battle of Plassey took place, the Battle of Buxar took place, and then after that they were able to take over control of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa, and these three provinces became theirs. In addition to that, they also had Madras and they also had the Bombay Presidency. Then, all those who amassed wealth, especially the company officials, when they went back to England, they lived like Nawabs. But they didn't call themselves as Nawab, they called themselves as Nawabs, the anglicized version of the word Nawab. Okay. So they lived very luxurious lives. So now you must remember, children, where there is honey, the bees and the birds will go there. So if you have something lots to give, everybody will come to rush and take it because man is very greedy. So this country had so much to offer, and so everybody wanted to come there and take as much as possible, exploit the country as much as possible. So now let's see how the company began to expand its rule after this. So let's see what policy they followed in order to expand their rule. So company rule expands. How did they expand? Let us see. Now, I told you Governor Generals came and went. Hey, what did the Governor Generals do then? The Governor Generals, they started bringing in newer and newer methods. So you find Wellesley. Wellesley came to India. Lord Wellesley who was called, and he came up with a wonderful idea called subsidiary alliance, which means you are lower than us. Who is lower than us? He said all those kingdoms other than the ones that we have annexed, they will come under what is called as subsidiary alliance. Okay, what is subsidiary alliance? We Britishers will keep one person in your kingdom, and that person will protect you. The king needs protection, he has his own soldiers. No. There could be a war, no. So we will protect you, and we have an army, small army, which will protect your kingdom, and therefore you have to pay me, the resident, in your kingdom, and you have to also pay the army. Acha? If you don't pay, then your territory, part of your territory will be taken away. Which king will want to forfeit his power? But they made the kings do that. So there were many kings who followed the subsidiary alliance system and kept a British resident in their kingdom. Then they also maintained a small army. Okay, a small army, and then third thing, if they did not pay they also paid them the salary, and if they could not maintain them, what would happen? Their territory would be annexed. Okay, so like this, a number of kingdoms came under the rule of the British. So small kings were there. They all had to, take the subsidiary alliance, follow that, and they became part of the British Empire, which was slowly building up, and company's rule began to expand. This was one way. Another way was war. Okay, so they made use of both the techniques, brain and brawn. Okay, so now brain they used and had the subsidiary alliances. Brawn they used for what? Here, wherever it was required, they used their strength also. Mysore at that time was first under Hyder Ali, and later on his son Tipu Sultan became the rulers of Mysore. And both of them were very strong rulers. They never wanted to listen to the British. They felt, why should we give up our freedom? This is my kingdom, I have to rule it. And they started even taking the help of the French. This was not liked by the British, remember, because the French were the biggest rivals for them here in India. Okay, so then there were 4 wars, in fact, Carnatic wars. And in the 4th war, Tipu Sultan, that was called as the Battle of Seringapatinam. Of what? Seringapatinam. Okay, he died, he lost bitterly, and they annexed this territory and gave it to another people called as the House of Wadayars. And these Wadayars became the rulers. But how? Following the subsidiary alliance system. Therefore, Mysore came under the hands of the British. Okay, so now, having taken Mysore, now their eyes were somewhere else. Where were they? Where was their eyes? Their eyes were on the kingdom of Maratha kingdom. This Maratha kingdom they wanted to take. Okay. After the death of Shivaji, you find that the house of Marathas had divided into 5 groups. There were 5 families. So now they were not like one unit. They became a confederacy. They came together. Who were the 5 who came together? Peshwas, okay, Gaikwads, Scindias, okay, Holkars. Who else is left now? Let me see. Peshwa, Gaikwad, Scindia, Holkar, and one more, Bhosale. Okay, so these 5 had come together in the form of a confederacy. At that point in Delhi, Ahmad Shah Abdali was ruling. Who was ruling at that time? Ahmad Shah Abdali. Now, the Marathas, these 5 came together and they decided that, look, we must take over Delhi. We must show that we are a very strong power. And so they declared war on Ahmad Shah Abdali. And how did they go? They took around, 10,000 and odd or more than that peasants, farmers in their armed forces. And they went for fight. So this battle had taken place between Ahmad Shah Abdali and the Marathas. Okay. So this battle, when it took place between Ahmad Shah Abdali, Ahmad Shah and the Marathas. And where did this famous battle take place? At Panipat. Now in this battle, the Marathas lost. When the Marathas lost, why do you think they lost? They lost because Maharashtra is a terrain, a hilly terrain. And the Marathas were used to guerrilla warfare. It's hiding behind the mountain and attacking and all that. But here, Panipat is a flat ground. They did not know how to organize their army. They did not know how to charge. Whereas Ahmad Shah Abdali was very good at it because he's coming from Central Asia. He's a Persian fellow who came and took raids in Delhi. So he was able to fight very comfortably and defeat them. And that was how the Marathas lost the war. Alright. Now, what has happened to the Marathas? The Marathas were very, very weak. Once the Marathas were weak, what did the British do then? It's a weak cat. It is time for the dog to pounce and take over. So there were 4 Maratha wars that were called as Anglo-Maratha wars. And the last war, in which the Marathas were totally defeated and there was a treaty signed. We need not bother about that. It was called as a Treaty of Salbai and all that. And they annexed this territory. So with this, Marathas were also defeated. So which were the 2 ways? One, they used the subsidiary alliance system. And second, they also fought wars. And that was how they began to expand the company rule. Now you see, How much they have expanded? They have territory here, they have territory here, they have territory here, they have territory here. Okay. Now, by this time, you know what happened? There was problem in Afghanistan. Why? Because the Russians were coming here. And now, what did the British do? They sent all their forces to Afghanistan, 40 Russians, and they kept, somebody in charge of this territory over here. So now you see, in bits and pieces, they are expanding their rule over our country. So this was how they expanded. Then, who started the subsidiary alliance system? It was Lord Wellesley, and he expanded the rule in India. Now, who comes next? Let us see. Next came Lord Hastings. After Wellesley went, Lord Hastings. Aha. Like his name says, he was always in a haste. Okay? He declared that the British rule was paramount in India. What did he say? That British rule was paramount. मतलब सबसे बड़ा, इससे बड़ा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. It is the biggest, best. It is the rule. You cannot say that there is anybody else who can rule. And he said, because it is paramount, the company has an authority to annex any territory, take any kingdom under its under it. You cannot question it. Then the question is, was there anybody who could challenge? Was there any Indian king or queen who could challenge? Yes, there was this Rani Channamma. Okay, Rani Channamma from Kittur, a small place. She challenged the British. See, this lone woman who had a small territory, also the queen. She challenged, and then she was sent to prison where she died. Later on, of course, people did continue it, but then they were not strong. So that was how Lord Hastings, concluded that British rule was paramount in India and nobody could question it, and he began to annex territories. Now, apart from that, who was the next person who came after Lord Hastings left the scene? When next person who came as Governor General was Dalhousie. Okay, what did Dalhousie do? Now, Dalhousie went one step ahead. In what? In annexing the territories. What did he come with? He said, if any king does not have his own son that is heir to the throne, then that kingdom is mine, the Britishers. Can you see that? The king can take his brother's child, his sister's child and make them the king. No. You should have your own legal heir. Only then you can continue ruling. Otherwise, your kingdom will be annexed. Who told? British told. Why? We are paramount. Whatever we say is the correct thing. Okay? How can you say that? In this manner, they annexed territories like Jhansi, Satara, okay, Nagpur. Okay. What did they say? They started this doctrine. They called it as the Doctrine of Lapse. L-A-P-S. Okay. What did he say? 1. If the king did not have a heir to the throne, H-E-I-R, which means son. Second, then their area or their kingdom will be annexed by whom? By the British. So unfair, yeah. Who are they to come and tell us that if you don't have a legal heir to the throne, why I'm going to take it? It's like, your neighbor coming and telling you, hey, what are you eating? Chapati? Get out of your house, man. I will make rice and eat and I will stay here. How can you do that? No, it's not correct, no? But that was how they began to expand their territories in our country. And then, They saw to it that they are collecting enough money. So now what did they do? Their next this thing. So already we have seen. We have Wellesley, and then we have Hastings, and then we have Dalhousie, who comes up with different ways of annexing or expanding company empire. They are expanding their company's hold over India. Okay. Now what did they do? Now they began to um, think of ways of administering the country correctly. How did they administer? What they did was, there was a Governor General, okay, and like the Madras province, Bombay Presidency, Calcutta Presidency, they had. Okay, these were all called as presidencies. And in each of these presidency, there was a collector. This collector had a very important place, and where he was conducting the business was called as collectorate. So in these three places, there was a collector, okay, and this collector, above the collector, was the Governor General. So the Governor General was the most important person. So that was how they administered. What they did, they divided the presidency into various districts, and every district had a collector. So the collectors played a very important role in administering. The collector had to see that law and order was maintained. Collector had to see that land rent was collected, taxes were levied and collected. So that was how the collector became a very important person. So this was the way in which they were able to control the people. Then, let's see, what else did they do? They brought about changes in their army also. So earlier, when the Mughals were there, no children, Mughals had their army in a very difficult, in an easy way. Like, there were people who were on horsebacks. Okay, those sailors, soldiers who were on horsebacks were called as Savars. And those who were, on foot soldiers, okay, they were called as Paidals. Okay, so foot soldiers were there. Then, what did the Brit, and from where did these people come? Many of them were actually peasants from various villages who were trained and then who were put into the Mughal army. Now, what did the British do? They also did the same thing. They took people, peasants, they trained them, but their training was very different from what they had learned from the Mughal army. What they did was, their training was more rigorous, more on Western lines. So there was more discipline, there was no caste system allowed, and so on. Then when they saw that the caste system was so rigid that people were not willing to actually get along with one another, different castes, then they called everyone, whether a higher caste or lower caste, they were called as sepoys. Okay, they were known as sepoys, and these sepoys had never became officers. They always remained as sepoys. That is how the British were able to expand their territory, use our people, make an army and so on. But more than that, what helped them? It was the steamships. Okay, the steamship which were invented. Now big ships, they were able to come, okay, to our country within a very short period. Earlier it used to take 3 to 6 months from Europe to India. Now they could reach in 3-week time, and as a result, their people, their arms, their ammunition, everything could be brought. And that was how they were able to expand their rule in our country and keep a hold on us. Now with this, I am completing this unit, the second part of this unit. Now what we will do is quickly revise the points, and after that we will have a quick look at the questions given in the text. Alright, let's see, what have we seen in this unit so far? We have seen how company rule expands. Okay, so who came first? It was Wellesley. Who came with what idea? He came with what was called as a subsidiary alliance system. Okay, then After that, what happened? After that, first, okay. Then second, we find that two areas were annexed. The Marathas were also defeated, and Mysore was also defeated. Okay, and it was these territories were annexed and added to the British Empire. Then third, what did we see? That the British also had a war with Afghanistan. So they were expanding there too. Then what did we see? We saw after Wellesley who came, Hastings. Hastings was in a great hurry. So what did he do? He said that British rule was paramount. So they could annex any territory and nobody has any right to question them. Then after that who came? After that Dalhousie came. What did Dalhousie say? Dalhousie brought in what was called as doctrine of lapse. That means any king who did not have a natural heir to the throne, his kingdom would be annexed. Doctrine of lapse. Okay, so he annexed the territories in this manner. Then what else do we see? We see that there were changes, how they administered the country. So they administered effectively because MINISTERE, administered well because they had a lot of collectors who did the job of administering and seeing that law and order was preserved where in various presidencies. Then they had to report to the Governor General, and in this manner they were able to keep a hold on India. Then plus the invention of the steamships, they made travel easy and quicker, and as a result they were able to come to India within a period of 3 weeks. So with this I complete this unit, but then I would like all of you to definitely read the lesson properly and then try and answer the questions given at the end of the chapter. What I will do is, I will just read out the question. Please keep a pencil in your hand and I'll just give you the page number where the answer can be found. And all that you have to do is look into that page and search for the answer yourself. Some activity which I would expect you to do. Where the match the following is concerned, Diwani is a right to collect land revenue, Tiger of Mysore is Tipu Sultan, Fauzdari Adalat is criminal court, Rani Chennamma, she movement led an anti-British movement in Pittur, and Sipahi is a sepoy. Now, the fill in the blanks you can do, but let us see what we can discuss is the question answers. Question number 4. What attracted European trading companies to India? Please write down page 10. Your answer is there in that page. Okay. What were the areas of conflict between the Bengal Nawabs and East India Company? Write down page 12. You will find the answer there. How did the assumption of Diwani benefit the East India Company? Write down page 14. You will find the answer there. Explain the system of subsidiary alliance. Write down page 15, 16. You will find it over there. In what way was the administration of the company different from that of Indian rulers? Please write down page 21. And 9th question, describe the changes that occurred in the composition of the company's army. You will find the answer in page 22. Now children, only in the first unit I gave you the answers. I read out like how you're going to mark it. In this chapter, from the second chapter, I'm just going to tell you the page number so that you also read the unit and find the answer on your own. It will help you. Okay. With this, I complete this unit. Kindly see to it that you are reading the text properly and writing the question answers. Thank you.